Hello and welcome to this week's No Access Required. You know, games companies are wrong about two things: ownership and in-game ads. Now, the conversation about in-game ads has been floating around for decades now, and each time it's been met with the same eye-rolling from gamers. Nobody cares. More than that, nobody wants it. Any interruption to immersion and gameplay is just not desired. And yet games companies keep trying to convince us, the gamer, the consumer, that their poison is actually medicine, that it will be good for us. And so the question of in-game ads has reared its ugly head again, with gaming crashing and burning all around us, and as I reported previously, the cloud looking like it's going to be the saviour of gaming. Then not only will the games companies be able to close off their ecosystems very effectively, they'll be able to charge whatever they want for their games. And they will decide how long a game lasts, what is available to us and when. And the cherry on top? Adverts. In this digital-only cloud future, they can do what they want. And adverts are something that gaming CEOs have wanted for ever such a long time. But if we don't want this, and we're willing to fight to stop it, how can we effectively combat this practice? Well, the method is tried and tested, and it's called ratioing. Now, I'm not one for weaponizing anything, but in a world where gaming has effectively been weaponized against the gamer for profit, well, all I can say is use their weapons against them. We have to fight back as consumers in whatever way we can, and we should. And so let's say the gaming cloud future is upon us, and we're trudging through this dark dystopian gaming nightmare. And the new Halo 7, 8 or 9 is just being released, and we go to the cloud in order to play that game for the 100 hours that we're allotted as part of our apportioned gaming time for that month. I know that's another video entirely, but I'm sure we'll get there. And just as Master Chief disembarks the Warthog, he goes into a Forerunner complex, and on the walls there are panels festooned with bright, enticing visuals and graphics. And guess what? Burger King has made it halfway across the galaxy. You can buy your Space McDonald's. Why on earth you'd want a Cadillac or a Ford or a Subaru out in the far reaches of the galaxy is beyond me, but there it will be, on a billboard, for you. And so the internet will form part of a new battleground, and that battleground will effectively be the gaming companies introducing things like advertising, and who knows what other measures that frankly aren't required in games, and us fighting back. If the consumer starts to ratio any measure taken by the games companies in order to push back against these unpopular measures, and then the advertisers will see that being in-game is not a nice or profitable place to be. When you're an advertiser, the thing you can least afford is bad press. And if we the gamers make enough noise about anything, it will eventually get reported. And therein lies our biggest weapon. Because doubtless how some news agencies will spin it in favour of corporations, eventually, if we stick to our guns, if gamers use the weapons available to them in order to ratio these advertisers, then eventually the message will have to be told as it's intended. And advertisers will literally just throw their hands up and go, well,
we tried it and it just didn't work.
That's our power. But I foresee a rather difficult time between the point that we decide to display our dissatisfaction with advertising in-game and the eventual point at which the advertisers leave. And I fully envisage the AAA games companies fighting back in order to keep advertisers in the gaming space. And in much the same way that we can ratio advertisers, the AAA games companies, wishing to defend their bottom line, will start to ban gamers who show dissatisfaction with advertising in-game. Increasingly, we're buying licenses for everything. We don't own anything. Our rights have been effectively stripped away under this model. And as such, the game companies can do whatever they want. So I see a whole swathe, thousands upon thousands of bans, as companies try to press their point that they can't be bullied by us, the people who give them our money, in order for them to continue to survive, to make profits. Do you see how perverse this equation has become? But this battle, this fight that is yet to happen, which lies many years down the road, will happen. And we, the gamer, need to steel ourselves against the inevitable backlash. We must strengthen and harden our resolve. Because the whole point about AAA games companies banning individuals is that eventually they will ban everyone. And they know this. And at that point, they don't have a business, because they will have behaved in such an unreasonable manner to protect their margins. There will come a point when they understand they're literally banning the people who are keeping them alive. And not to mention the fact that cloud gaming, as good as it is now, is still at times buggy as fuck, and they want to introduce an extra layer of computing in there? It just beggars belief. And it's at this point you, the consumer, have to understand that in this new world of digital only, the only thing that matters to games companies isn't quality, it's functionality. The question for them isn't, is a game good or does a game work? It's, is the system good enough? And does the system work for them? The future for gaming does look incredibly bleak, and we as gamers have our backs against the wall. And something occurred to me as I was putting this video together, and that's we, the people who are listening to this now, are effectively the last generation who will remember gaming as it was meant to be, as it always was. And that is a tragic epitaph to what should have been a grand legacy for gaming. AAA gaming has been wrong about a lot over the last couple of decades. And this push towards ads and this idea of a digital-only future are two of the main tentpoles of gaming's future, and the two things that they are most wrong about. When it comes to ownership, vinyl records in this particular instance, has had their biggest year. Vinyl is having a resurgence that I, as somebody who was old enough to remember 7-inch singles and play them, that was a massive part of my life at one point, watched the demise of vinyl in favour of CDs, digital copies and streaming. Vinyl never truly went away. And you know why? Because people, consumers, still love to own. And ownership is starting to take off again. And this illustrates just how out of touch games companies are. Now I'm aware that we've got this extra argument, this extra layer of RAM apocalypse and RAM prices and the consumer dystopia that brings with it. But let's not forget, games companies did this to themselves. Oh, I'm not saying we, the consumer, aren't complicit. We are, in some small way. But we, as the consumer, were led here. Gamers still love to own. This is something that is clear. And if physical game copies are anything like vinyl, then it will never truly go away. The only problem I see is all the pain and heartache it's going to cost consumers in the interim until this whole ugly mess shakes out. No, Sony and Xbox and any other company who wants to dive into a digital-only future will continue to try and convince us that a digital-only future is the way forward. They're trying to convince us of this because it suits them. And when I say it suits them, I mean it suits their bottom line. It suits their pursuit of profit. And in much the same way, they will try to convince us that ads during gaming, that ads at the beginning of a game, that ads at the end of a game will also be a good thing. But it's not a good thing unless it's for profit. Their profit. You, the gamer, won't profit at all. In fact, they'll put these ads in and make you pay. You're paying more, or you will pay more in a digital-only future, for a worse experience. And all the while, they will tell us that ads in-game will bring a greater sense of realism to the experience. Because after all,
you're surrounded by ads in real life.
These large companies with CEOs at their head know no shame. It's been shown time and time again. They will do whatever it takes to chase the mighty dollar. And whereas I'm not against profit, profit can be a good thing. Profit at any cost has been shown to be a bad thing. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like, subscribe and share. It really would help the channel. And until next time, bye bye.